Hello, welcome to my little revision video on the Emigree. So let's get stuck in, let's ask for it, what's it about, what's its message, and then let's get into our analysis. So, the Emigree. This is a poem by Carol Rumans, and she tells a story about a lady who has emigrated away from a town, from a war-torn place. She left with beautiful memories, but this town is then destroyed by war. Now she feels like an outcast, she feels the population resent her for her abandonment of them. So therefore Rumans is exploring how conflict can change a place, a person and their relationships even if they are not there. She examines here how conflict has the power to not just destroy a place but destroy our relationship with that place and how they feel about us. So what power and conflict is shown? We've got the power of the conflict to change a place or person. We've got the power of memory, the power of betrayal, and then we've also got the power of a place to stick with us and mean something to us. We've also got the conflict of memory versus reality. How she feels about the place or her memories about the place contrast dramatically with what that place is like. We've got the conflict between peace and violence. Her memories are in peace but violence has destroyed it. We've got the conflict of her pride versus the city's shame and how our experience either in or away from conflict juxtaposes with those that have been in or away from conflict. And then we've got the conflict of light versus shade as well. There's a symbolism of light throughout this, and then there's the symbolism of shade and how those two things conflict yet need each other to exist. So what's the Rumans' key messages? First of all, that conflict can affect you even if you're not present. You don't have to be in conflict to be hurt by it. She also has the message that no matter what conflict can do to a place physically, it can never take the memories and that sense of belonging, i.e. the power of our emotional attachment to a place is not as strong as the conflict that can destroy it and hurt it. But it also has that message that conflict and the betrayal can turn those you love against you. The people that matter to us can change as a result of the conflict they've gone through. So techniques, there's loads here. I've narrowed it down to some nice rich ones for you. Pick which ones you like best, make sure you know and remember them, okay? So first of all, we've got this pathetic fallacy and metaphor here of her memory being sunlight clear. So this reflects the beauty and the happiness of his memories of her hometown, and like a sun, those memories bring them warmth and comfort. However, this juxtaposes the next line that follows, that I never saw it in that November. So if she's saying the city has had a November, November is colder and darker, so it's a metaphor for the city's demise in conflict. So her memories do not match the city's experience. Her memories are associated with sunlight, they're warm and comfy, however the city has gone through a November where it is cold and dark. Then we've got this synesthesia later on. Now synesthesia is when you combine the senses together. So here we're tasting sunlight. Sunlight is something we should feel or something we should see, but here we can taste it. So this reflects how all our memories are merging together. As time has gone on, all her different thoughts and memories of the place are all merging together into one thing. But it also shows how she can't stop talking about her home. We've just established in the previous point that her memories are like sunlight, and that sunlight is always on her tongue because she tastes of it. So she feels passion and pride in her home, even though its changed and been destroyed. However, there's a full stop dramatically at the end, showing that she's been silenced. She can't talk about it anymore, and this may be through sadness or is more likely through fear. The previous line makes a point that she's been banned by the state, so perhaps that terror and that tyranny that is being experienced by that hometown is what is silencing her, so she can't still talk about the place that's so important to her. Got a further technique here because I think it's just so beautiful we had to talk about it, which is that this city, she feels she has to comb its hair and love its shining eyes. So Rumans has personified the city here, reflecting how the city needs love and care after its years of conflict. Like a little baby or like a young child, it needs to be looked after. Now this implies a regression. Conflict has taken the city back to a primitive existence, something that is far more basic and something that needs more help and support to get on. But it also implies this city's dependence on people like her. However, people like her have portrayed her as most vulnerable and desperate moment. They would believe that she should have been there with them, she should have supported them and been in the trenches with them if you like, but she didn't, she went. Then we've also got this further personification a little bit further on where it says, "My city takes me dancing through the city of walls." Now dancing as celebration implies a joy she still feels at her memories regardless of the city's pain, so no conflict, no devastation has been able to take those memories away from her. But also remember, dancing is a two-person activity, especially here if her city is taking her dancing. So this shows how she still needs her city and her city still needs her. But it goes on to say that it's dancing through a city of walls. Now this noun of walls could be looked at in a couple of ways. It could be showing how she's overcoming these restrictions within her city and the restrictions, the barriers that have been put in place both emotionally and physically as a result of this conflict. Or does it show that her city is still keeping her out and still resenting her? There's still a wall between her, as she hasn't suffered, and the people there who have suffered. So in terms of structure, this is 3 verses poem, which means there's not an awful lot of structure to the rhyme, or there's not a lot of structure to the rhythm that goes with it, but there is quite heavy on enjambment, so it moves on to the next line without a pause or interruption quite regularly. So this reflects the chaos and disorder of the war zone, and how conflict has brought a unpredictability and a danger to the place. But also, using regular length stanzas implies she's attempting to impose an order and control in her memories, even though this place is in chaos. But I'd also look critically when it comes to structure at the last word of each of these stanzas, which is sunlight. Now, we've already talked about how the sun reinforces the message of hope, how the sun represents hope and guidance, so the fact that it keeps ending with sunlight shows there's still hope for this place. But if the sun represents hope, look at how the meaning of sunlight changes each time. First of all, it's a brand. She's branded by sunlight. It's there, it's permanent, it's strong, she's got hope. However, then by the middle, it's just a taste. It's going a little bit. You can no longer is prevalent an image within her life, but it's now just relegated to a taste. But then by the end, my shadow falls as evidence of sunlight. The sunlight is pretty much gone. There isn't a clear focus on the sunlight anymore. So this shows how they are increasingly losing sight of the sun. They're increasingly giving up hope for a better future in this place. But critically, she has not. There is a shadow that remains. Therefore, there must still be some sunlight. There is still some hope yet for her hometown and her relationship with it. So now on to words. The first one I'd look at is here. There once was a country. Now this adverb of once, it makes it sound like a bedtime or a fairy story. So this demonstrates how young she was when she was there and how innocent the knowledge of conflict she must have been, and therefore the juxtaposition between conflict and her innocence. The stories are also make-believe, so this might show it's a city from another world and another time, and it's not like that now because it's been destroyed by conflict. Stories are also fantasy, showing how magical and special her hometown was to her. The other one I'll look at is this. My city hides behind me. Now this verb personification of hides reflects the damage done to the city. It reflects the psychological and mental damage of war, because even this city is now afraid of what can come. It implies a blame of her if they are hiding behind her. It's like they're putting her out as a scapegoat. She's the one to blame. So they're expecting her to take responsibility even though she's gone, showing how all-encompassing conflict is and how you don't necessarily have to be in the place to have to be hurt or experience the conflict. But it also shows the city is hidden. No one now can see the beauty and the magic of the city because it's been tarnished by conflict. And she has got a message here that we need to find that beauty again. We need to scratch past the conflict and the hate and the violence to see what makes this place so special. Further word for you here is this word of a shadow. The fact that there is a shadow when to prove there is evidence of sunlight. So if there's a shadow on the city, that reflects there is a darkness that's on the city, so they do not have the same hope and the same positivity as the narrator. However, shadows are only temporary, and therefore there is that positive message this city will return. Furthermore, you can't have a shadow without light, showing how unbreakable hope is, that hope still has a power and a resilience to keep going even in conflict. And finally, in terms of rhythm and rhyme, we've mentioned before the regular enjambment throughout, but now we need to look at the effect in a little bit more detail. So enjambment makes it a very, very quick poem. This reflects how quickly a conflict has destroyed the town and changed its people, but it also reflects the passion and enthusiasm she still has for her home. She's desperate to say all this stuff, it's spilling out of her mouth because she still has such a vibrant energy and love for the place she calls home.